Well, welcome again. I'm in our backyard. We actually call this Sayers Sanctuary. It's our fish pond. You see the fountain going, and you may hear dogs bark. They're not in our house. We got cats in our house, but just being outside, I wanted to share this adventure. I've been calling, or other people call it, the Great 50 Days. Yeah, which started on Easter. That was April 20th. Had to get that, and it goes through Pentecost, June 8th. And there are some Christians, even to this day, and I am doing this right now. We don't look at Easter as a one day event or Resurrection Sunday as a one day event, but it could be 50 days. And I always like to, during this 50-day adventure, look at some of the highlights of Jesus after his resurrection. Now, I'm going to be staying primarily in the book of John, chapter 20 and 21. I am going to skip into Luke 24 on the road to Emmaus for one episode of this. But let's start. John 20. Now, John 20 begins where, Jesus has already been crucified. It's their day. Mary Magdalene's going to the tomb and to prepare his body. She's going expecting he was dead, and the stone was rolled away, and she looks in, and she goes running back to tell the disciples, the town was empty. And then there's the great foot race I want to talk about. Peter and John foot race to the empty tomb. I'm going to talk about that next Friday. But I want to focus in again just on Mary. Let me pick it up on Mary. This is John chapter 20, and I'm going to start at verse 11. The first part, read that. But Mary was still standing outside the tomb weeping. Now, this is after Peter and John look, and they take off. Whoa, he's empty. We'll talk about that later. But Mary's still around, and she wept. She stooped and looked into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white, one at the head and one at the feet of Jesus, where the body had been lying. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "Because they've taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they've laid him." When she said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but did not know it was Jesus. We're going to see this coming up at least one, maybe a couple more times. They don't recognize Jesus. And I think there's a reason why. Because why? Well, they're expecting him to be dead. If you hadn't been to the cross and know that he died for our sins, and you haven't gone in Easter, well, we're going to talk about that even next. But Mary's still crying and weeping. Anyway, this Jesus said, "Why are you weeping? Whom you are seeking?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you've carried him away, please tell me where you laid him, that I might take him away." And Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Now he recognizes her. And I just want to focus on the one word. He says, Mary. There's something about Jesus. He knows our name. He knows who we are even before we were born. He knows our name. And he says, Mary. Jesus calls you. He calls your name today. And he said, Mary, Andrew, Peter, John. Okay. And he's calling your name today because he has a plan. He's got a purpose for you if you have that relationship with Jesus. If you don't, it's not going to matter what he calls. But he's calling your name today. Great 50 days. Next time, hang with us. We're going to come back and talk about the great foot race between Peter and John. Or you can just read it, John 20. God bless.